Man, just really, really disappointing. Last 15 minutes of that game, I thought our guys did a great job battling back after a tough start to take a lead near the end of the half, tied at halftime. Really good job out of halftime. First 5 minutes, we finally got some defensive energy going during that time. Took a 9-point lead, but we just didn't sustain the defensive intensity and toughness and tenacity we had to have. And Maryland deserves a lot of credit, especially for the way that they came together after Payne went out, because they did a terrific job shifting their attack, obviously, to be more perimeter-oriented with who they had out there. And they really got us on our heels, and we didn't do a good enough job counteracting it.
I think Chase picked up his third foul and had to sit for a little bit, and that kind of kick-started a 12-0 run for them. Without him on the floor, what do you want to see those guys do differently?
Well, with or without him on the floor, we have to defend way better. But without him on the floor, Ben, right now, we need more presence. We need more toughness. We need more leadership. We need more talk. We need to play in a better stance on the defensive end. We need to move the ball more. There's a lot of things that we need more. The recipe for us winning is not, Chase and Zayd shoot 19 times. We give up 89 points. That's not going to be the pathway for us to win. And, this is a tough way to learn that lesson, but, we have to.
A lot of missed shots at the rim. How do you get better at converting those?
Clarity of mind first. I think when you're lost in a fight and you're playing with a clear mind, those shots tend to go in. When you're not, they tend to miss. And the same is true for open threes. And right now, we have some real soul searching to do from the standpoint of getting the order right. The spirit and energy that we bring to the team and to each other, the cultural way we go about things, act, interact, and respond, then the defensive end, then the offensive end. And what happened today was offense got affected by guys, not having the full commitment that they needed to have to those things that come first. And obviously it's my job to fix that and improve that.
You attempted 38 three-point shots. Did you see something you could exploit Maryland on from that sense, or was it more just taking the open shot?
We actually shot 40. I think that most of them were wide open, good looks, based on the way Maryland defended. They really were packing the paint. They were going under a ton of our actions. Those looks for Zayd, for Adrian, for Ben, Chase, those guys shot the majority of the threes for Royce. We'll take those shots. We actually got a lot of them back, too, a lot of the misses back. I mean, if you told me before the game we were going to have 20 offensive rebounds and Maryland would have 4, I would have thought we'd be in pretty good shape. But you still, on the defensive end, their first shot, you have to make them miss. And we didn't do that nearly enough.
Seems like Demarius is struggling a little bit early on in the year as your program relies on people stepping up every year. What do you need to unlock more from him?
Everything. I mean, he's a talented guy. He had a surgery in the spring, so he was robbed of most of his off season, but he's been back since July, and it's time for him to go after it. He actually had a phenomenal practice yesterday, the best practice he's had in quite some time. And that's why I gave him more opportunity today. But right now, he seems like he's a half step behind. We've got to get his aggressiveness ramped up somehow, some way. But you're exactly right. Our program is predicated on guys stepping forward. I got to do a better job helping those guys do that and helping them understand we don't have a choice but to step forward. Everyone's in a new role. Everyone has more demands on them. But ultimately, it has to start with the spirit and the energy we bring each other, which is controllable. And then all the controllable elements of the defensive end. We're going to watch that tape and we're going to see a lot of possessions where we just weren't in a good enough stance, or we didn't communicate at a high enough level, or we weren't in the right position. And those things are fixable. Those things are controllable.
Nigel playing 23 minutes. How do you balance? I mean, do you want to play him more, or do you try not to overload him too much too early in his freshman season?
Nigel giveth and Nigel taketh away. He's a really, really good player. He's a dynamic player. But I've got to help him with details. I've got to help him with defensive intensity. I got to help him with guarding the ball. I got to help him with what to do when the defense goes under. He and I, we've spent a lot of time together. We need to spend a lot more.
You have talked about speed, especially with Sean and NJ. Over the last couple games against the Power 5 opponents, it seems like their feet are moving too fast and they've kind of lost control of the ball sometimes. Is that something that they just kind of need to remember, that like we got to kind of slow it down, try to kind of run the offense, or is it just kind of, what do you think's happening right there?
Yeah, it's a balance. I think you want to utilize those guys' strengths, which is speed and quickness, but you absolutely have to play with poise. But I go back to when you have complete clarity in mind for affecting winning. Those type of things tend to go really, really well. And in the games that you're talking about, again, I don't think we were as clear-minded as we needed to be. And it's my job to help these guys with that, help them understand that. When you come to Marquette, it's an absolute honor. Jarrell McNeil's jersey went up in the rafters today. It's an honor to wear the same uniform that he wore. And we have a lot of work to do to help our guys understand what responsibility goes along with that honor. Man, that's the biggest thing for me right now. We have to take tomorrow off, but Monday when we're back on the practice court and in the film room, that's the one thing that's going to be made clear.